Hey guys, it's Rowan here. I just want to do a quick, loosely scripted video about Star Trek Discovery. It's back early next year and more exciting Star Trek projects are sure to follow, especially after the news of Picard's return. Although myself and guest host Jamie have given our long-winded thoughts on Discovery's first season, I thought it would be a good idea to examine episodes more specifically and look at the highs and lows of the season. So here we go. The Vulcan Hello and Battle of the Binary Stars was a fantastic start to the show. The premiere immediately throws the audience into a very different kind of Star Trek show, one where we don't even get to see the ship of the title until episode 3, where our protagonist isn't the captain of the ship and said protagonist commits mutiny for what she thinks are the right reasons. In a really short space of time, we get to know the crew of the USS Shenzhou, not in depth, but the character dynamics and tonal juxtaposition of their usual routine compared to the outbreak of war perfectly complements the rising tension of the story. The confrontation between the Federation and the Klingon Empire serves as a sort of microcosm for the Cold War status between both galactic powers and then explodes into a thrilling space battle. It asks tough questions, takes us out of our comfort zone, and really does some fresh things with the familiar franchise, all elements which I found really encouraging. Into the Forest I Go was a great finale, or at least it felt like a finale, to many of the arcs which were kicked off at the beginning of the season. Lorca's motives, which were still a mystery at this point, driving a tense operation to engage and destroy the main Klingon bad guy ship, the innovative use of the spore drive turns a standard space battle into a character-centric puzzle, and the PTSD plight of Ash Tyler is written with brilliant tact. The main detractors of the writing aren't really present in this episode, but are associated with it. I'll get to what I mean by that in a second. The Mirror Universe episodes, however, were the true highlight of the season for me. The Mirror Universe has always been a fun part of Star Trek lore, and just as DS9 found a cool use for it, so did Discovery. Beginning with a Jonathan Frakes directed episode, the mini-arc in the season really showcases the strengths of the show. Drawn out, slow-building tension which keeps us tied to the hardships of our main characters, and then thrills with an explosive return to some epic as hell pulpy space opera action. Not to mention this is without a doubt my favourite depiction of the Mirror Universe ever. The gold and black uniforms are absolutely stunning on screen and are great fuel for cosplay. And Michelle Yeoh's turn as the Empress is fantastic. Both because of a delightfully borderline corny performance, but also because of the great dynamic it re-establishes between Burnham and Georgiou and then twists for added effect. But what makes the Mirror Universe arc so compelling to me is because this was the perfect way for the show to explore the thematic intentions of this season. Discovery's first season basically asks the question, is it right to sacrifice one's principles to achieve one's goals in times of desperation? The Mirror Universe offers the perfect reflection of what the Federation could become if its morality is cast aside, and I honestly think this could have wrapped up Burnham's character arc really neatly, instead of the actual finale. But that brings us to Levy, or however you say it, is probably the weakest episode of the season for me personally. I don't think it's bad, and the creative intentions of the episode are solid in terms of character development. However, I think its execution is a bit clunky. The mind meld over light years thing is fine in my book, but it's what happens when Burnham actually tries to reach Sarek. The Vulcan kung fu fights are just goofy, and from the looks of the editing and shot choices, I doubt they really had enough time or money to really polish these scenes in terms of choreography or direction. Especially because these sections really do run in place for an annoying length of time. Burnham goes into Sarek's memories, they have a fight, Burnham gets kicked out. This happens one too many times the exact same way before anything is actually accomplished. This really feels like the budget-saving episode, and while it wraps up nicely, the journey to get there could have been much smoother. And finally, Will You Take My Hand was a bit of a letdown as a season finale. It just doesn't feel big enough. I don't think a huge space battle was needed or anything, but after the build-up it seems the war comes to an end far too easily. More action isn't necessarily the answer, but just a few more obstacles to make it more difficult for our main characters to accomplish their goals would have been nice. The award scene is nice, and Burnham's speech, which encapsulates the themes of the show, is well delivered. However, if this final episode had felt more of a struggle, like it was really down to the wire, I feel like it would have been more effective. And as stated earlier, it seems to me Burnham learned these lessons during the Mirror Universe arc anyway, and was kind of running in place for these last two episodes. Not terrible by any means, but it could have been much better. Pretty much everything else in the season was pretty solid. While the strongest stuff comes at the start and in the middle, Other episodes such as Choose Your Pain and Magic to Make the Sanest Man Go Mad were certainly complemented by Rainn Wilson as Harry Mudd. While most of the episodes won't blow your socks off, they're solid Star Trek through and through. I'm really looking forward to Star Trek Discovery Season 2. The trailer looks awesome. I just hope the writers recognise where they could improve and where they could capitalise on the strongest elements so far. That about wraps up for now. This was just a quick video to get my general Star Trek thoughts out there. If you like my videos and want to see more, I have a Patreon page where for just $5 a month you can see all my videos up to 1 week early. I have some Battlestar Galactica stuff on there that isn't released to the public just yet. Until then, have a good one guys, live long and prosper.